2022, heavy rains have triggered a massive landslide in Nauni district of Manipur, killing 56 people and causing widespread damage. It's been a year since that tragedy took place, and northeast of India is facing yet another deluge as southwest monsoon makes its onset over the region. Over the last few days, torrential rains have caused massive floods and landslides across various parts of Assam. And if climate scientists are to be believed, these heavy rainfall events are likely to increase in frequency and intensity over the coming few years. This is worrisome, especially for India, which is among the top 4 countries facing the highest landslide risk. So what can we do? These disasters cannot be prevented, but what we can certainly do is alert people beforehand. Hello, I'm Srishti Chaudhary, Science and Environment Journalist with CNN News 18. And in this section of Science Wise, we'll give you some important details about the work that is happening to develop an early warning system for landslides. So one of country's oldest scientific institution, the Geological Survey of India, has been working on developing a landslide early warning system to ensure that people in these vulnerable areas are alerted in advance whenever such a tragedy could strike that region. So the work has been going on since a couple of years now, but now it has been expedited considering the frequency and the intensity of heavy rainfall events are now increasing in the region. The World Meteorological Organization had also implored all the nations across the globe to develop an early warning system for all kinds of weather events before the year 2027. So I spoke to the Deputy Director General, Mr. Asit Saha from the Geological Survey of India, and he explained that the GSI has already completed the landslide susceptibility mapping of the entire country, and they have now identified the most affected districts by landslide. The target now is to complete the site-specific studies of all these vulnerable areas as soon as possible so that an early warning system can be devised for these vulnerable regions. So what are these site-specific studies? Now, as Mr. Saha explains to us, that these geologists who are now already on the ground are trying to determine all kind of factors which are triggers for these landslides, the topographical, the geological and the hydrological factors. Now, to explain to you a bit, so landslides can be seasonal, they can be event-based. Like an earthquake could trigger a landslide, but they could also be triggered by massive construction happening on these hills, which may destabilize them. And as we all know that humans are responsible for this, illegal and illegal mining, rampant construction on the hills and the massive deforestation that is taking place is destabilizing these regions and making them more and more vulnerable to landslides. But mostly, these landslides are triggered by heavy rainfall events. And as Mr. Saha explains, the key element here is to find out the threshold value of heavy rainfall which can trigger landslide in these regions, and GSI is working with the India Met Department to determine these values for each region. Now, as we all know, landslides vary from one region to another. About 12.7% of country's area, apart from the snow-covered area, is prone to hazards. Now, this stretches up from the Himalayas in the north to the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats in the south. So this is going to be a very time-intensive process. The work has begun, but it is going to take a lot of time. Now, if you remember, the Indian Space Research Organization has also published a landslide atlas of India, which said that about 147 most affected districts are facing high risk of landslides. It also said that Rudraprayag in Uttarakhand faces the highest risk considering the density of landslides and the number of people who are living there. So what next? Now, the good news here is that the GSI has already started this landslide early warning system in 2 areas on a pilot basis. Now, this includes Darjeeling in West Bengal and Nilgiri Hills in Tamil Nadu, where the people are now getting forecast bulletins ahead of heavy rainfall events, which alerts the people in advance about a likely landslide that could hit the region. Well, the entire project, as Mr. Saha says, the target is to complete it in another 2 years' time. So by 2025, by when India could have a landslide early warning system. And we hope that it gets ready as soon as possible. So that's all for today. And thank you so much for watching CNN News 18. You can keep reading our stories on news18.com for more such updates.